Atëherë përshëndetje të gjithëve. Unë jam Faton Limoni, jam president dhe themelues I Shkollës Shqipe I Liria. Spari dua t'ju falenderoj gjithëve që keni gjetur të na bashkangjiteni në këtë aktivitet që quhet Rrugtimi im në ndërmarrësi. Sot kam nderin që t'ju prezantoj Greta Bajrami, një biznesmene shqiptare e suksesshme këtu në Shtetet e Bashkuara të Amerikës. Tani do t'ju jap pak background bio të Gretës, pastaj Greta do ta ndaj përvojën e saj si ndërmarrëse dhe t'na jap pak a shumë ide ose t'na inspiroj pak se si kanë qenë përvojat e saj, çfarë ka mësuar ajo dhe si janë planet e saj për të ardhmen. Do ta them në anglisht sepse Greta ma ka dërguar bio në anglisht. Greta Bajrami is the CEO and founder of Golden Group Roofing. Greta migrated to the United States at 10 years old from Tirana, Albania. Greta grew up in Worcester, Massachusetts, where she attended Worcester State University. Greta had no roots or prior connections to the world of exterior remodeling when she recognized the need for quality and implemented technology to expand the customer experience. Greta innovated the construction process and elevated the customer experience. Greta's excellence and success with the construction industry has gained her local and national attentions throughout the USA. Worcester Business Journal named Greta as a 4 under 40 class of 2017. Remodelers magazine recognized her innovation by awarding her the Big 50 Award 2019, their most recent national award, the Biz Award for 2020. Greta serves as the treasurer on the board of directors for New England Roofing Contractor Association, board of directors and scholarship committee for Worcester State University, and president of Massachusetts National Women in Roofing Council. So as I said, it is my pleasure and it's my honor to introduce Greta to you. Greta, faleminderit shumë për kohën. Shumë faleminderit për përgjigjen kaq shpejt për kohë të shkurt që të bëhesh pjesë e kësaj dhe të ndash përvojën tënde, suksesin tënd me ne. Tani po ju jap fjalën ju, urnëni.
Faleminderit shumë. Faleminderit gjithë që keni marrë pak kohë nga your busy schedules të na dëgjoni son. Unë do flas në anglisht, simply because kur flas në shqipja ime nuk është aq e avancuar, kur flas në terminology these days. So
Jo, nuk të jap dot tek.
That's okay. Perfect. So as you heard, like, my name is Greta. I grew up in Tirana, Albania, and my story started a long way from here. And today, when I talk to you, it's going to be a story about inspiration. It's going to be a story about learning how you can better your life and make success a state of mind, because that's really what it is. It's believing you can do something before anybody else believes it. And I'm going to walk you through this story of this girl that was rootless, a girl with no roots, and then she became rooted, somebody with deep roots. And I'm going to take you through this journey. So I want you to pay attention, because there's some key things that you can take away from my story and make it a part of your journey. So my story started at 10 years old when my parents obviously lived in Tirana, Albania. We're searching in hopes of a better future. We got the opportunity to come to Worcester, Massachusetts, and we took it. And I came to Worcester like every other Albanian immigrant, hungry for culture, hungry for a better tomorrow, hungry for the American dream. And I'm very grateful that today I can say that I've achieved that American dream. And I've achieved it through, again, that success is a state of mind and defying the odds. But everybody says that to you, but how many times are you believing that? So today I'm going to show you a story that's going to make you understand it, absorb it, and believe it. Because at the age of 14, my life was perfect. I was going to school. I thought I was going to be a lawyer. Everything was going great. But at the age of 17, I made a decision in my life that impacted everything. And I'm going to talk to you about that decision, not because I want you to focus on that, because this is a business talk, but I'm going to talk to you because that decision changed everything. And you might have a similar story, right? Something may have happened in your life that shuts down everything. So I'm going to tell you that from age 14 to age 17, I was doing everything any normal high school girl. getting the best grades, trying to become a lawyer in the United States of America. And at the age of 17, I found out that I was pregnant with my daughter, Kiara. Silence, right? An Albanian girl pregnant at 17 in an Albanian culture that has to now face not only society, but has to face the world with her decision, right? In those days from 17 to 19, I had to spend 2 years proving to myself that I was worthy of people's respect, proving to myself that I was worthy of people's love and attention, proving to myself that I was worthy of anybody's time. Because in my culture, everybody shut me out. No longer did anybody care that I wanted to be a lawyer. No longer did anybody care that I had good grades. No longer did anybody care of what they thought about me. Everybody thought of Greta, the girl with a daughter, right? That's all I was to so many people. So can you imagine the type of pressure that's building into my head? Can you imagine what it must be like to be in my shoes? And we all have moments like that. And you know what? To sit here and tell you that I said to the world, oh, it's okay, I'm going to keep going. No, I did not. When I was 18 years old and I started to go to school, I accepted people's death sentence of myself. I accepted people calling me worthless. I accepted people calling me a loser. I accepted it. I made it my reality. And I went through life. With this new reality that I now had to face. And in life, that's what happens. A lot of us go through a lot of experiences, have a lot of plans, but then life happens, something happens, whether it's a tragedy, a death, or just a change, and we accept it. But why do some of us overcome that acceptance? Why do some of us go to the next level? What's different, right? Because we're all the same. We're all flesh and blood. We're all here by acts of God. So what switches me from the other person who gets stuck there forever? And I think people say about facing your fears, but I like to challenge that. Because I think if you're waking up every day and you're going to work every day, you are facing your fears. So I hated when people told me face my fears, because what did that mean? I was facing my fears. But it was about living with my fears and having them be a part of my identity. And that's what I want you to focus on. That was the biggest revelation. It wasn't about living with my fears. I was doing that. It was about making my fears my identity, making my story my identity, making people understand that, yes, I was Greta, the 17-year-old girl that got pregnant, but I was also a lot more other things. I was also Greta, a smart girl. I was also Greta, a girl that knew where she was headed. And it was about time that I accepted that. And it, and I guess if you have to put it metaphorically, it's like living in a haunted house. And all the haunting things around it is your tragedy. You could either be afraid of it, or you can walk into that haunted house and tell everybody, I am not afraid, because this is my life. This is my house. Demons, ghosts or not, these are my story. And when I did that, amazing things started to happen. First and foremost, I stumbled upon the world of construction. I knew nothing about construction, but because I had this big attitude of going forward and letting people, if everybody was making fun of me, I was already making fun of myself 5 minutes before they were. And with this type of attitude, I stumbled upon construction. I stumbled upon an industry that I knew nothing about, but I was excited for, because also another learning curve. A lot of us go into business because of passion, but I like to challenge that. I like to say that some of us go into business because of skill. So I'm here today to tell you that if you have a skill, find it and use it to get yourself out of your current situation. Don't wait for passion. For some of us, passion may never come, but skill might come. And if you have a skill today, use that skill to better your life. And that's what I did. I had a skill for talking to people. I had a skill for managing people. And I saw construction, an industry that not many people were using business principles in. And I said, Greta can do this. I can do this. And I can do it different. Because I wasn't going to rewrite the construction process. And whether you are thinking today that I have a skill and you know some business, you're not going to rewrite the business. Whether it's coffee shop, whether it's writing a book, you're not going to rewrite the business, but you can rewrite the way you do it, right? I could rewrite the process of how it was done through my point of view. That was the only thing proprietary. So that's exactly what I did. I went from this girl who was scared and worthless to this girl that accepted that I was worthy. And whether you believed it or not, I knew it. And that was the most important thing. And then I went to this girl that embraced her flaws and told people before they even told her, like, yes, that is me. Nice to meet you, but I also have all these other things to offer. And then I went to this girl that took skill, not passion, skill, and turned it into a career choice that later I felt passionate about. Because the moment that I opened the doors to Golden Group Roofing, I knew nothing about construction, but I knew that I had a skill and I knew that I needed to get out of poverty. I am a very unapologetic entrepreneur. I'm not here to tell you a story like it would be told in the New York Times or the journals. I'm here to tell you a story that's real. Some of us are immigrants, and the only thing we need to do is to find a way to get out of poverty. And that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to find a way to get out of poverty. People tell me, why'd you open a roofing company? Because I was poor. That's why I opened a roofing company, because I was extremely poor and I was tired of being poor. So I took a skill and I turned it into a business. And that's my journey. That's how I begun. In 2012, I opened the doors to Golden Group Roofing. I knew I wasn't going to reinvent roofing, but I was damn well going to reinvent the way people did roofing with Greta. And I decided to take that skill and embed it in my soul and make it my DNA. I decided to make my brand be me. I didn't look right. I didn't look left. So now in the second part of this speech, I'm going to talk to you about business, because it's very important from early on that you understand it. First thing I did in day one, I sat there like a crazy person and started talking about roofing like I knew what I was talking about. Sure, I didn't have all the answers, but I made a map. Would you drive somewhere today without a map? Probably not. Would you even go to a restaurant without even checking if the hours are open? Probably not. So why would you do it in business? Why would you open up something, leaving it to fate? Why would you start a business not knowing where you're headed? People called me crazy. Remember, I was making $10 an hour. And here I was making $1 million plan for a roofing company. But I wasn't crazy. I just saw what other people couldn't see. Because a friend of mine told me, he was a surfer. And he said, when you're a surfer, if you know surfing, you have two options when you're in that wave. You either see the sun, and a surfer, if you think about it, always holds his hand out when he's inside the wave, because he's looking for the sun. He wants to come out and ride that wave. Or if you're not looking for the sun, guess what happens? The wave takes you, and you do not get to decide where you end up. The wave decides for you. You either are pulled out to the shore or you're pulled out to sea. So my friend who's a surfer changed my life, because I said, I want to be the surfer that rides the wave looking for the sun. I don't want to be the surfer that rides the wave looking to be taken wherever the wave decides. What business would that be? What good would that do? So that's what Golden Group Roofing was. It was a business that from day one, I knew where I was headed. And if people couldn't see it, then so be it. And if people thought I was crazy to create $1 million roofing business, then so be it. So if you have a business that you want to start, the first thing you want to do is you want to go as crazy as you can, knowing where you're headed. And once you do, we can begin. And when you are going to begin, you are not going to look left. You're not going to look right. Actually, I did it wrong. Right, left, right? You're going to look straight. Because when you start looking right and left, you forget who you are. And business is all about identity. Remember what I said. I did not reinvent roofing. If I had looked right and I had looked left, I would have done what everybody else was doing. So why would people do business with me if I'm copying everybody else? So in business, it's very important that you don't look right and you don't look left. You look straight. You keep your own path, because only that way your identity will come out. And people like authentic businesses. People like experiences that are authentic and have identity. Think about it as YouTubers. Think about Instagram influencers. Think about your favorite restaurant. Think about your favorite newspaper, right? You only like things that are authentic. You follow people that are authentic. All the copycatters out there, you don't know who they are. So if I went into business and you went into business today, we're going to make a plan. We're going to make a 5-year plan. And we're going to make that plan be crazy good. And we're going to write that plan together. And then we're going to not look right and left. We're going to create your identity together. We're going to have your voice be heard on paper. And when I say go, you're going to shh your brain, right? You're not going to listen. In Albanian culture, we love to listen. We love to validate our business plans. We love to validate our opinions. We love to validate everything. It's our culture. But guess what? Our culture doesn't work in one way, in the entrepreneur way. Why? Because when you try to validate your thoughts with somebody else's, chances are that person doesn't see what you see because he doesn't have your eyes. So I remember when I wanted to open my roofing company, I started telling everybody that I was going to have a roofing company. And guess what people said? Don't do it. You'll never make money. Women don't work in construction. There's no money in construction. There's no future in construction. Imagine if I had heard those people. Would I be here talking to you today? So what I tell my friends is whenever they have a business idea, I tell them, don't ask me if it's good. Sure, take input. Always take input. Always. But never to validate your idea. Because that's a deadly thing. If you're taking input to see if you're going to do something or not, chances are it's going to be a 50-50. Some people are going to love it. Some people are going to hate it. And imagine if you hung up your dream. Imagine if you said goodbye to your dream because somebody else convinced you that 50% won. How sad would that be? I wouldn't be here today. So we have our business plan. We have our identity. We are not going to go to our spouses and validate everything. Again, for input, you should always validate. But for the purpose of moving forward, it should come from your heart. You are the decision maker, whether you want to go forward or not in business. And once we go forward, we're going to run at 100 miles per hour, right? We're going to run fast. And we're going to run fast, not because we're there to win, but we're going to run fast because we are going to do everything we set out to do, right? We're going to make everything happen, and we're going to do it ethically. And this is where the biggest piece is. For Golden Group to have run 100 miles per hour, it had to be my character and my identity. And if people that I employed didn't fit in that, then so be it. If we had to grow slower because my identity and my character had to be protected, then so be it. I think a lot of business owners make one deadly mistake. Once they start running, they forget who they invite to run with them. It's very important that if you were to open a business today and you start running, that you choose the right people to run with you. If for one moment you let go of the control, for one moment you don't know where you're going and you let other people lead, everything you've worked so hard to could change. I'm not saying the business will be lost, but I'm sure in Albania you see that a lot of businesses begin to change. Probably the leader has no idea what his own business is anymore. Because once you start running, it's very important that you know who you're running with and who is supporting your dream and who is a part of your dream and what that dream means to you. And one thing it should always mean to you is your character and your ego, because those are two things that you die and you leave this earth with, right? Your name and your legacy. And I remember when I was in business, I would say no to a lot of people, and people would ask me, why are you saying no? And I'd say, this is the only time that I'm proud to be Albanian, because it's not about the dollar bills. It's about my legacy. What will I be remembered for? What will my business be remembered for? What will you remember me for when I leave this room? I want that name to be clear. I want that name to not be attached with Greta Bajrami, the CEO, but she does this and that, right? So you have to be very careful, because it could be a deadly mistake. When you start a business and you are in it, you have to be very careful, because if you have the wrong people join you, or you have the wrong pull you, then everything you work so hard to achieve could be destroyed or changed. And maybe that change is something you can't forgive yourself for. And this leads me into my really good principle, leading with money. I never lead with money. But I do run $1 million roofing company. I consult hundreds of business owners every day. The first thing they talk to me is about the money. I tell them, we could talk about the money all day, but it isn't money who's coming to buy here. It's people. And when you lead with money, you forget who's holding it, right? If you only see profit, you forget about the emotions behind it. You forget about the people behind it. So if you own a business today, or you want to own a business tomorrow, and you think you're going to lead with money, I suggest you work for somebody else. Leading with money is a short-term goal. It might give you money today, it might give you money tomorrow, but chances are you'll get a bad review, something will happen, people will quit, and you'll be back to square one. So lead with people, right? Lead with vision, lead with character, and money follows. It followed my company. I led with people. I didn't see profit. When I was working on somebody's dream home, it was about their dream home. The price I gave them didn't change because I was losing money. It wasn't their problem. It was my mistake to learn. If you want a restaurant tomorrow, if the person is sitting down, they're not having a good experience, it's not about money anymore. It's about making sure that person is being taken care of, making sure that person comes back tomorrow, making sure that person doesn't say something bad about you, right? That's all what business is. So don't lead with profit. Lead with people, and profit will follow. And that's where I am. And if you figure that recipe out through the journey that I'm taking you with, if you figured that part out, the rest is a very slow and steady incline. If you shush the voices, if you lead with vision and identity and authenticity, and you lead with people and profit follows, you will have a very healthy incline in your business. You will have a very incline in your life. If you put in the work, life rewards you, right? In every chance, whether you are an entrepreneur today or whether you are working for somebody else today. If you lead with people first, putting people first, you will be rewarded. Your boss will see it. Somebody will notice. Your career will move forward. That's what life is all about. And the last piece of it, really the juiciest part, is networking. The reason you're here today. Voice your wants and needs. In Albanian culture, I realized that sometimes I would never voice my wants and my needs. I thought it was tacky. I thought it was not good. But voice your wants and your needs. You never know who's listening. You never know who. I could be sitting across you in a coffee shop. You never know. And that is the thing I'll leave you with today, is that tomorrow when you're sitting there and you're thinking about entrepreneurship or just bettering your life, voice them. Don't be afraid to share it with a stranger. I think in Albanian culture, we're too scared to voice our wants and opinions because we're afraid of what somebody might say. Try it. Try it tomorrow. Try to tell somebody in a coffee shop. Don't say, I don't want to tell them because it's bad luck or they're going to think I'm crazy. Forget all that stigma. Leave that behind. Embrace this new thing, because I tried doing that 4 years ago, and not only has my business shifted, but my personal growth has shifted. I sit in coffee shops, I strike up conversations with random people, and I've made more friends and I've validated more friendships and network opportunities like the one today, where the leader today just happened to send me a message, and look where I am. I'm here with this amazing group of people. So voice your wants and your needs. If you don't, nobody knows what you need. And it's not my job to find out what you need. It's your job to tell me what you need. So if I can help you, I will. And if I don't help you, keep trying. I've gotten so many no's in life, but I've also gotten a handful of yeses. And I'm not counting the 1,000 no's, I'm counting the 5 yeses. And that, to wrap it up, will be the final thing that I will tell you. A lot of people will tell you no. Why not? Why shouldn't they say no? But you only need one person to say yes. And if you're not willing to put the work, then entrepreneurship is not for you. If you get discouraged at 1,000 no's, then entrepreneurship and the entrepreneurship mindset is not for you. Because an entrepreneur is somebody that wakes up every day. People think they're crazy, right? They're like the crazy Picasso painter. They wake up every day. It's 1,000 no's, but you know what? When that one yes comes through, they devote their whole life to it. So what will you do today? Well, and that's what I'll leave you with. What will you do today? And how will you make success your state of mind? And how will you make those ghosts in your story be a part of your identity? And how will you stop today letting other people decide your future based on their opinions? And for that, I thank you. I hope you've enjoyed it. Shumë faleminderit.
Shumë faleminderit Greta. Me të vërtet një story shumë inspiruese dhe motivuese. Shumë faleminderit. Atëherë po e hap hapësirën për pyetje, nëse keni dikush në pyetje, diçka që ta Greta, që e përmendi, doni më shumë sqarim apo ndonjë pyetje tjetër që ju mendoni se duhet pyet Greta. Urnani.
Kisha një pyetje për Gretën. Në radhë parë ishte shumë e siguruese ato që the sot dhe faleminderit for sharing your story. Tani unë jam high school math and business teacher, por kam studiuar entrepreneurship edhe kam qenë involved in entrepreneurial businesses. Edhe shikoj tek ty domethënë një që është shumë e preokupuar domethënë ndaj biznesit, at the same time you're a mother. What do you do in order like to clear your head and have like like a different angle of seeing your business or seeing your life besides focusing on the roofing business or
Absolutely.
your life?
No, Kyo's very good question. But in the way I view the business, for me, personal growth is very important, and I seek it in other ways other than my business. I validate personal growth in network groups, things that make me feel good. So I travel a lot. I that's just my get to. I love to leave my current life and just see other people's point of view. So that's in terms of the fun aspect of it. That's what I do. I like to decompress by even just walking by myself. As an entrepreneur, we need to be by ourselves sometimes. People think I'm crazy. Sometimes I drive the music, pa music në makinë, right? Because I need to hear my thoughts. It's very important to me. So mua më pëlqen shumë që të jem vetëm dhe të dëgjoj the thoughts in my head, because vetëm kur jam vetëm I can hear them, and I like to do it ndonjëherë, just decompress, get away. And it's very important nëse je baba ose mama to do it sometimes by yourself. Sepse kur je me fëmijë gjithmonë automatikisht your instinct është fëmija, so nuk mund të jesh clear then si një entrepreneur, si një njerëz që do që të vazhdosh to the next step. Kur je vetëm është vetëm mënyrë që mund ta bësh këtë gjë. Edhe in a business sense, per business, I love to just network me njerëz që janë my role models. Like in a business you should always have role models. Ti nuk je më i miri, gjithmonë do jetë një njerëz që është më lart se ti dhe nesër do jetë një njerëz që është më poshtë se ty. Por gjithmonë I like to network me njerëz që janë më lart se mua. Mendoja kur kam filluar në biznesin në fillim, njerëzit më thonin që oh, they'll never answer you, right? Like nuk do të thot një kompani 100 milion që like hello. But they did, provova 2-3 herë, një ambite sekretare, then all I wanted për shembull ishte 30 minuta of the entrepreneur's time. Edhe unë e bëj shumë convenient, I them mund të flasim në një quick call, mund të text, çfarë mund të bëj, domethënë që sepse unë duhet komodoj kohën e atyre, dhe kjo është shumë important. Për shembull, një herë në muaj gjithmonë jam në një telefonat me një njerëz që kam idhur, like I look up to them. Edhe është so important sa në ato 30 minuta që ata shpenzojnë telefon, they change your life. Edhe kjo është, I guess, personal growth. E di që është një mendim shumë I ri në botë, sidomos me coaches, personal coaches janë një gjë shumë e re, domethënë në Amerikë kjo tani ka filluar të jetë një trend, si themi. For personal coaches, for just mindset, është një big revelation. Kind of like here today. Like I think që kur investon në mindset growth, çdo gjë tjetër fillon to grow as well. I hope I answered your question.
You did. Thank you for answering my question. Dhe bëj sukses në gjithë.
Shumë
mund ta marr fjalën.
Po, unë Arieta.
Përshëndetje, jam Greta nga Gjilani, jam aktiviste përpara ligjore në OEQ Krya Hinore, po ashtu edhe jam zyrtare ligjore në Agjencion Ympyror në Gjilan, është në kuadër të. Ju falenderit shumë që na keni dërguar ftesën në dëgju këto ligjërata kaq të këndshme të shqiptarëve të njëmi me njëri tjetrin, sadopak edhe në mënyrë virtuale, edhe pse jemi 1 kilometra larg, po kur dëgjojmë sukseset e tyre, na natyrisht ndihemi krenar dhe të lumtur që ata përvojat e tyre për na bartin këto, dhe sadopak na mund të mësojmë dhe të bartin dhe të tregojmë të tjerët se çfarë duhet të bëjmë. Greta, falenderit shumë për ligjërat kaq inspiruese. Është kënaqësi dhe nder të ndëgjojmë për ty, si femna shqiptare, arrin kudo që shkojnë në atë formën e vet dhe I thënë paragjykimet dhe stereotipet që gratë ose femna shqiptare nuk mund të arrijnë edhe nëse bën nana dhe ikin dhe I thënë ato tabut që vetëm nuk mund të arrish kurrë. Unë kam një pyetje për ty shumë thjesht. Çfarë kishe sugjeru vajtave dhe grave tani për me arrit diçka në jetë? Çka duhet ato të bazohen? Edhe atë përvojën tënde të biznesit, ty vetrinëve në Kosovë, Shqipërinë, Maqedoni, Lublin, Preshevës, ka do që janë shqiptarët, çfarë kishe preferu me marr ata hapat e parë?
Unë mendoj që më mbaj më veten time, domethënë kur isha thjesht një mama dhe thjesht një vajzë e re që kishte geshta xan, nuk doja që ajo të ishte vetëm gjë që unë të njihesha. Besoj që gjithë strength dhe gjithë vullneti dhe power do vi nga vetë njeriu. Domethënë nëse një femër sot është thjesht nënës, është thjesht grua, ajo është kjo e vetmja gjë që ti do që të dihesh. Edhe nëse thua jo dua të dihem për shumë gjëra të tjera, por çfarë po bën ti për të ditur për shumë gjëra të tjera? Sepse shumë herë shumë femra thonë që dua të dihem për shumë gjëra të tjera, por në një jetën kohë vazhdojnë të bëjnë atë që kanë bërë, vazhdojnë të njëjtën program që kanë vazhduar. Dhe nëse ti do që vërtet ta ndryshosh vetën dhe të njihesh në këtë botë për shumë më shumë gjëra se thjesht nënë, ose thjesht vajzë, ose thjesht grua, dhe çfarë po bën ti sot? Sa orë po fut ti sot ndaj sa ëndre? Dhe për shumë nga ne, kjo ëndër do vi natën kur janë fëmijët në gjumë. Sepse për ti të ndalosh dhe të shkosh në një rol tjetër, do vësh overtime, right? Do punosh orët ekstra. Dhe kur do i bësh të orë? Duhet i bësh natën, do t'i bësh kur janë fëmijët në gjumë. Domethënë duhet të jetë një sakrificë e madhe dhe jo ndonjëherë shumë dhe gratë ndonjëherë e thonë që do ta bëjnë, po sa e bëjnë dhe sa vetëm e thonë. Dhe kjo është diferenca. Nëse ti je sot dhe je një grua që do të bësh më shumë dhe do që të hecësh më para, dhe ti do ta bësh atë orar, dhe ti do ta bësh atë vullnet, po nuk dhe do ta bësh overtime, do ta bësh në orët e natës, do ta bësh në orën kur nuk ke me fëmijën me burrin, por essentially, domethënë çdo gjë do filloj me ty. Mos prit për një njeri tjetër që të thotë që oh Greta dua të shoh ty të bësh më shumë se ç'je. Sa ajo ditë mbase nuk do vinte kur.
Faleminderit Arieta për pyetjen e mirë, edhe falenderoj që ke gjetë kohën më na u bashkangjit. Dhe të falenderoj në emrin tim personal për punën që po e bën në Kosovë. Ju uroj sukses e shëndet dhe me të vërtet ne edhe nuk i shohim gjithë që punojnë, edhe nganjëherë nuk për atë arsye që nuk i shohim këta që bëjnë këtë punë të mira si kur ju atje, edhe pastaj nuk kemi edhe mundësinë t'ju falenderojmë, po falenderoj që ke gjetë kohë të marrësh pjesë këtu që edhe të na japësh mundësinë që edhe të falenderojmë për punën shumë të mirë që e bëni ju, posaçërisht në këtë fushën e barazisë gjinore, se e di që ne kemi shumë punë, kemi bon progres pak, po ne si vend dhe si kom kemi shumë punë në këtë aspekt. Dhe ju falenderoj për çdo minutë, për çdo sekond që e futni nga koha juaj, nga mundi juaj në këtë punë. A kemi dikush tjetër në i pyetje? Clementina, I thought you have a question. Do you?
Hi, everyone, and thank you so much for sharing your story. So my name is Tina. I'm from Michigan. I'm actually in the midst of packing, so that's why I'm not showing my face. But one thing that I think a lot about is structure. So structure creates habit then can become a part of our culture. So what habits do you follow every day? You know, what has really helped you sort of like every day become a better person? Like, do you do something for 30 minutes every day that, finds you, I don't know. I'm just basically saying, what can I learn from your daily habits? Like, what can I pick up? Because I think that's the best way for me to take action right now.
Yeah, that's a great question. So a habit and structure are two incredible things. I mean, no entrepreneur or no person should really do without them. But it's also important to understand that it's a developing pattern. So don't think you have to have all the answers for structure. It's something that even today, I'm constantly revising it and remending it. But I'll tell you, in business, one thing that I do every day, which is weird, is that I spend 30 minutes just innovating or just seeing my brand and seeing what I can do different. I love to see my brand through the eyes of a consumer, at least for 30 minutes every day. Now, it doesn't have to be always with a client. It could be, I'm in construction, so it could be at a job site, it could be at the office, it could be online. Online is huge for me. I check my business online at least 3 to 4 times a week. So in a business sense, what I'm doing is I'm spending at least 30 minutes to see it through eye of a consumer, because you don't understand what flaws you can see when you're sort of playing client. And I know a lot of business owners say that, but how many of you do you actually play client in your business or client in your life or whatever you're doing, right? So that's what I do, 30 minutes a day. And online, I'm very innovative online. We can have a whole discussion one day if anybody ever wants to reach out about online. I like to say that I'm a CEO, an entrepreneur, but I'm really an online marketing person. I'm a PR person. That's my default. I grow my brand through PR. It's the oldest and the best way to grow your brand. It is going to be something that will never die. Obviously, I do online PR now, but PR, you know, public relations, making sure that the brand aligns with certain people, certain influencers, certain brands, certain movements, very important. That's what I do. As a person, what I like to do every day is I like to read, but I don't read anything business related. I just read like whatever the hell I want. I think it's so important. In the beginning, I would read business books, but I felt like I was working. So now I just read like romance, fantasy, I don't care, but I just love to read because you know what? I go back to that thing is Albanians, Albanians are incredible, you know, writers. And we have an author, you know, so you said it earlier, but our literature strength is one of our biggest strengths. And I love to manipulate the hell out of it. Like I love to keep making that better because I feel the way I present myself, you know, and the way I speak. And I know in this, we've done elevator pitches. So that's so important, like, right. And you can only strengthen that by reading, and you don't have to read about business. You can just read whatever you want, but your brain is picking up the words. So if you're spending 30 minutes a day or an hour a day just reading about anything you like, even if it's whatever, that's going to help you so much in business. And it's going to help you so much in just getting your language out, being able to present your ideas to investors, marketing, because you never know who, again, you never know who's sitting across you. You might have to pitch them.
And Greta, Clementina, great to see you again. Thank you for your great question. I hope your moving will go smooth. Take care of yourself and your family. Juna, duke të ke një pyetje, Urna? Hape mikrofonin të lutem.
Përshëndetje. Thank you so much, Greta. Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you again, Greta, for this speech, for sharing your story with us. That was truly inspiring. I am a psychologist. I'm from Michigan. Actually, I am a mentee of Clementina. I'm a psychologist. I'm currently doing my PhD in leadership. And one thing that I'm looking at is women leadership, especially when it comes to growing from adversity. So you go from the adversity or the trauma that you went, you go through that and you developed, you know, this post-traumatic growth. So my question to you is, what facilitated your growth through the adversity that you went through, especially your, you know, first trauma, if I call it that, which was, you know, being pregnant at a young age, maybe not an age when you wanted to. Exactly. So what facilitated your growth through that difficult period?
See, I'm going to say it raw, and you as a psychologist can tell me if this is right or wrong, because I have my very own psychologist to get through this trauma. So, you know, going back to that, I did suffer, just to let you guys know, I make a whole webinar on this. I've survived deep depression, simply because I was 17 pregnant. I married a Latino. So I had to go against my family, my traditions, what people thought of me. And then I had to prove all that as an immigrant woman in the trades. So it's so much. But I think the way I've overcome it is I allowed hate to fuel growth. And I allowed fear of poverty to fuel growth, because I think if you are comfortable, you're always going to be in limbo. I like to say that nobody, you know, if you look at every great leader that's ever risen to the very top, of course there's exceptions, but if you look, they have something in common, right? Steve Jobs, Apple was 90 days away from bankruptcy, right? Boom, Apple's a superpower. Starbucks, you know, the Starbucks CEO, his name just like went out of my head right now. Doesn't matter. Starbucks CEO, Howard Schultz, right? Thank you. Howard Schultz, nobody thought he was gonna, you know, he was selling coffee machines in Milan for his company. Nobody thought he would do it. Boom, Starbucks is the next biggest thing. So I think in life sometimes, I think one thing that I had is that I was already at the very bottom. There was no more going down than that. And I think when you hit the very, very, very bottom in your life, that's the only time when you can actually grow from it, right? Like that's the only time you can go up. And I was so angry with myself and with the world, and I let that anger really fuel my rise up. And I'm just being I don't know in the psychological perspective, but when me and my psychologist have dug to it, that's really what it is. I was so angry, and I chose to let that anger fuel me on my rise up. I was very angry with the world. I was very angry with Albanian culture for not accepting me. I was very angry with my friends for deleting my number or like acting as if I was, somebody they didn't know. And I used that anger to not rid myself of this world, but I used that anger to rise. And I think that's what really fueled my growth. And I wanted to show people that Greta Bajrami was not an immigrant girl. Greta Bajrami was not a teenage mother. Greta Bajrami was not a loser. Greta Bajrami was just Greta Bajrami. Nothing else after that. And I think that's one of the biggest things for me.
Were there any particular books or resources that you consulted during this time other than your psychologist? Because I know a lot of people, especially in Albania, may not have a psychologist, handy
Absolutely.
or, like on their phone or.
Absolutely. I actually didn't deal with psychologists or anybody during this time. I was very taboo, scared to, I do it now just to heal. But no, during that time, nothing. I didn't actually speak about my emotions. But then again, for me, maybe I was very lucky because I was fighting for my daughter, right? So maybe I didn't have a psychologist and I didn't have books. I kept everything inside, but I was fighting for my daughter, right? So maybe that's having somebody else's life depend on me is probably what kept me alive, if you want to be quite frankly, and it's what probably kept me going. But obviously so many things have changed. It's been 15 years since that day. So many things have changed even in the last 15 years in our cultures. And there is help now, and there is ways now that you can reach out. There's mentor groups now, there's female groups now. So, I wish I had had groups like the ones you're mentioning, but at that time I was very afraid to even let people know that I was dealing with depression.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Yuna, for your great questions. Good to see you again. I know we don't have much time, but Greta, I wanted to introduce to you a friend of mine who is online, and he was our keynote speaker last week. His name is Admir Molla, and he does kind of a similar business, just from, he's a supplier actually. He imports roofing materials from Kosovo, and he is online now, and I just wanted to introduce him to you.
Hi, how are you?
He lives in New York, so you might be able, while you're there, you two might be able to connect.
Absolutely.
Admir, are you still here?
Might have left. I think earlier.
Hello,
Ali's here.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hey, first and foremost, congratulations on everything. That was a wonderful story, and
Thank you.
I'm really happy for your success and everything you're doing. It's really encouraging, especially for women in our community. Yeah, like Fatan said, I know no construction background or anything on my end either. My family owns a factory in Kosovo. They bought it in Germany and they relocated it to Kosovo about 14, 15 years ago. And then we had the idea of how do we help people back home? We talk about patriotism in more of a folklore sort of way with, the chiftani, dancing and music and so on, which is beautiful. But at the end of the day, real patriotism is keeping people at home and giving them jobs and helping our economy. And so that's where the idea was born. And now for about a year and a half, we've been exporting to the United States our roofing products, roofing rolls and a few other things. And it'd be cool if we can connect and see how we can work together.
Sure. No, certainly. Please feel free to reach out. And I think did Dora had a question? She was earlier. She kept unmuting herself. But...
Vlora, apo Anita, kush pote pyetje?
Jo, pyetje, por
Ishta
mi thënë Gretës faleminderit shumë për këtë përvojë kaq të bukur që ndave me ne, dhe unë mendoj se unë jam ba ma vonë nan, jo shumë e re si Greta, por e kam pa vetën se kur jam ba nan, jam dyfishu me energji, me fuqi dhe me gjithë shka tjetër që ko mujt me ba. Dhe deshta me ta Gretës pikërisht ti ke pas fatin që je bo shumë herët dhe shumë herët je pjek dhe marrë me këto punë të fuqishme. Unë jam ba nan ma vonë dhe kam thënë me vete kur një grua bën një njeri, atër çka mundet me më bë tjetër ajo. Kështu që është pikërisht ajo që je bën anë herët, je mundu herët, je marrë më shumë gjëra të rëndësishme, edhe prandaj jeni suksesshme. Unë nuk dyshoj që ke shumë gra të suksesshme, sidomos në Kosovë këtu, takoj çdo ditë gra të suksesshme. E si është situata këtu, ato ja dalin, edhe thjesht janë botë fuqishme zani i tyne, qoftë në të drejtat të grave, qoftë edhe në politikë ka nis tashmë bozoj fuqishëm. Kjo është shumë rëndësishme për ne. Faleminderit.
Faleminderit Vlora shumë për kohën edhe faleminderit që gjithmonë shërben si shembull dhe inspirim për vajzat, nonat, gratë, motrat tona, gjithandej nga e kemi kombin. Ju uroj edhe ju shumë suksese, shëndet, vazhdoni me punën e mirë. Unë i kam 2 vajza për veti dhe gjithmonë vetëm shembuj të mirë, ju lutem, shembuj sa më shumë, gra, sa më shumë, se e di që kemi, unë i tham njerëzve, ne shqiptarët, ne nuk jemi aq arrogant, po flas burrat, saqë nuk ja dim rëndësien na se çfarë 50% popullsisë, çfarë popullsie kemi ne gratë. Jemi duket njerëzit më me fat në botë. Mirë, po ne na duhet ta lë dhe më shumë punë që edhe tjerët t'i ofrojmë dhe t'i bëjmë që të kuptojnë që me të vërtetë jemi njerëzit më me fat në botë, që i kemi këto nona, vajza, motra, gra e gjitha. Me të vërtetë është mrekulli. Faleminderit shumë për kohën. Atëherë, nëse s'kemi ndonjë pyetje tjetër, kështu presim sepse do fillojmë me workshopin. Vetëm dua ta përmbyll duke i falenderu Gretës shumë për kohën edhe për vullnetin që me nda këtë storje mrekullueshme. Ju uroj shumë suksese Greta, shëndet gjitha edhe që thonë tu, I look forward to working with you in other capacities and through this platform or in our community here. It's so great to meet you, also to get to know your story more. Edhe tjerëve po ju them faleminderit shumë për kohën, po vazhdoni të rrini të connected me platformën tonë, edhe javën e ardhme do kemi të njëjtin event, aktivitet me një biznesmen tjetër të suksesshëm shqiptar. Edhe do vazhdojmë edhe me aktivitete tjera në kuadër të programeve tjera të shkollës. Ju falenderoj shumë për kohën, Vlora, faleminderit shumë na ke befasuar sot.
Somebody said, Njeri thought, how can I connect with you? If you can share.
Who is saying that?
Somebody in the chat.
Yes, I wanted to know how I can connect with her via email or...
Yeah, I can send you Greta's email, or I can create a Facebook group where I can add you both, and then you guys can take it from there.
Nëse keni ndonjë pyetje për mindset, a business, or just women leadership, feel free. I'm very blessed at this point in my life. I have chosen great people that allows me to step outside my business, that Bajrami. So a lot of my schedule right now is it's involvement with the Albanian communities, involvement with just women leadership in untraditional industry. So in any way, shape, or form you need any assistance with topics, I would be more than willing. Obviously they're always free of charge, so no problem. You can always reach out to me.
Thank you. I appreciate
definitely
that.
You just give me more ideas.
Yeah, absolutely. Always.
Because I teach leadership, and I'm teaching it through this platform also, and it's we will talk more. Definitely. Faleminderit shumë Greta, faleminderit gjithë Vlora, Arieta, Dira, Donika, Clementina, Juna, gjithëve faleminderit shumë për kohën. Ju uroj suksese, shëndet e mirupafshim.
Thank you. Goodbye.